Hello everyone and welcome back to round 6 of the F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Miami Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live earlier on today from Shanghai, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. Yes, today it is a double sprint day, which is quite a lot of content, but I hope you guys are enjoying it as well on the channel at the moment. I remembered as well, I've been terrible with running through some of the other bits and pieces going on throughout this game in the last couple of episodes. So as we move towards this weekend, we've actually now got some new goals available from various members and personnel within the team. So what we're going to try and do is earn some bonuses with our power unit consultant this weekend. We've got to either reach a speed of 208 miles an hour or achieve 3 purple sectors. I think 208 is going to be the easier target there. And as well, taking a look at our driver data as well. We've actually been gaining driver ratings still rather rapidly in recent weekends as well. We're now up to a 69 rated driver. Yes, funny number, ha ha ha. And you can also see as well, yeah, all our stats slowly but surely going in the right direction as well. So I reckon by the end of this first season, we could be up close towards, you know, maybe getting towards 80 if we have a really, really good run of things as well there. We've got a couple more upgrades as well that are hopefully going to go onto the car ready for this weekend. That's not a good way to start. That's a really bad way to start.
Major issue on the production line earlier this week, and the entire development package for the weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
Well, really not ideal then. Hopefully we'll get at least one upgrade on. There we go, finally. We have been able to get one onto the car, so that means taking a look at performance. Visa Cash App have once again got the jump on me here, so we're in a fierce development race early on this season. We've got to try and keep it up as we head into Miami. Heading out then into qualifying here, we are going to skip free practice during these sprint weekends just to try and stop the videos being too stupidly long. One of the good things, though, of course, about racing for Haas Formula 1 team inside this game is that obviously we get 3 home Grand Prix over the course of the season for the team, which, oh, hello, is hopefully going to, you know, inspire and motivate the team a little bit more to work a little bit harder. There is absolutely no grip, though, on this circuit. Free practice was actually held in intermediate conditions, as looked to be most other sessions throughout this weekend. Sprint qualifying seems to be one of the only ones where it is dry, so we've got our work cut out here as we try and find the limits, and this first lap not looking good. Oh, really annoying as well. AlphaTauri V car trying to look around my outside as we make our way down the back straight. Daniel Ricciardo, I'm still there, my friend. I'm not going to back out of it. That was not good, and maybe that's a penalty to us. Maybe that's a penalty to him. I don't really know. I need to try and get the Delta, though, on the board. And once again, I mean, yeah, we definitely upset the balance of the car there. The car really not happy with that. A 1 minute 30.6 leaves us 3 seconds off the pace. Well, the team just about ready to get sent back out there right towards the end of this session. We've had to go on the softs. I can't afford to risk it here and start the sprint from the back of the field.
Your teammate is faster.
I'm not surprised. We're 3 seconds off the pace of absolutely anybody at the moment, so this lap needs to be a worldie. And even if we do make it into Q2, I think we're in for a difficult rest of this session. Up over the line with 40 seconds left to go. Let's see how much time we can find. Look at that. Way less understeer. Oh, sorry, oversteer even through the first couple of corners. This car now actually feels drivable again. He says, way too soon. Well, definitely got a bit too much oversteer still in the car. You can see on the exit of that corner as the weird grip levels once again rear their ugly head. 2 tenths down, though, currently on Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin, who's in the drop zone. Looks like Hulkenberg might actually be safely through and into Q2 here, but I'm worried we aren't going to join him. There's one more corner to try and navigate on this lap, again struggling as we try and get on the throttle as early as we possibly can. 3 seconds up. Will it be enough, though, to bolster us off the bottom? It is P20 here in Miami. That has been another disastrous qualifying. We won't see that very often in this series, but it is Valtteri Bottas. It is Kick Sauber, fastest on the board at the end of Q1. Hulkenberg makes it through a second quicker than myself. How have we gone from being a second quicker than Nico to a second slower here? We're going to have to try and find some stuff in the setup. But yeah, let's head into the sprint.
It's wet here today and we're expecting the downpours to continue. This will make for a difficult sprint for all the teams. Well, it's certainly not sunny here in the Sunshine State. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 19 corners and 3.36 miles of track around Hard Rock Stadium. These conditions should prove especially difficult for our drivers today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Albon, Bottas, Joe, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Stroll, Ocon, Gasly, Sargent, and Mr. Monaco. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
Okay, mate, I know it's not a great position to be starting on the grid, and it also puts us slap bang in the middle of the danger zone where risk is high. So be careful, pick your battles, and let's see if we can pick a few positions off along the way.
Wise words there coming from Mark before we move into this race. And I got no idea what that is about. How on earth is this dry conditions for a Grand Prix? It's fully raining out on the track at the moment. I guess if that rain is meant to stop during this sprint, then things might be a little bit different. But I am very, very scared for what is about to happen. Local boy Logan Sargent at the rear of the field alongside me. So I'm sure both of us want to try and get a good start here. It's 5 red lights here for the Miami Grand Prix. And it is lights out, and away we go. And I mean, look at how much rain has been kicked up there. Still no traction as we try and sneak up the inside. Oscar Piastri even had gone absolutely nowhere there down in towards someone, and I almost went into the back of him. Pretty much counter-steering right the way in towards that first corner, and I see no way in which this is intermediate conditions at the start of this Grand Prix. Car absolutely all over the place. I'll be intrigued to know if they've enabled DRS off the start of this one. But look at everyone understeering at the start of this race. I mean, we've said so far that the racing on this year's game has very much been, you know, kind of boring and predictable. I don't think that's going to be the case here as we try and look our way around the outside of Esteban Ocon even. So we make our way out onto the back straight. We'll risk it on the battery there as Piastri tries to make a move on Logan Sargent, almost completely drops it himself. I can literally feel the car aquaplaning there as into the wall we go. We're not the only ones who have done so there as 3 wide up in front. I just sense the worst, and it's happened. Esteban Ocon there, very, very slow on the apex as well. I am diving in. I do not care. This is intermediate conditions. If ever I've seen it inside this game, I'll make sure as well that we change the wing. But this is just stupid. Who on earth deemed that we need to start this race on a set of these dry compounded tyres, or even on the softs? I mean, I've got nothing I can do. I'm so sorry, Pierre Gasly. I've just put him in a wall. As I mean, yeah, wheels spinning our way. I'm at a 6th and 7th gear there, so despite how much easier the traction is to find, certainly doesn't make it just always possible inside F124, as I can still see AI trying to go for moves. I mean, we've just got no performance at all. More front wings flying as we make our way through the final corner. Sargent, I think he's going to peel into the pit lane alongside myself there. I think Oscar Piastri, despite picking up damage, he's going to stay out. But I don't care. I mean, I just don't care. We're going on to intermediate tyres and seeing how they handle here. Quite a few cars. Pierre Gasly as well are having to join us in the pit lane then, as Sargent has stayed on the dries. I mean, we're basically just seeing how we're going to stack up against those guys, because, I mean, sensibly, we're not going to score points, are we, otherwise here? As we'll make our way then back out of the pits. So, yeah, both Gasly and Sargent still on mediums. But instantly, I can feel more grip in the car. As we try, I mean, look at this already. The gap to Logan coming down, so we've definitely made the right choice. What is this? We're, what, 3 days into F124, and already we have got a beyond ridiculous race there. Sargent's going to go drifting. We will go past him.
Spare energy, okay to use your overtake button.
We've got 20 seconds to close in on Daniel Ricciardo up the road. I genuinely believe now, unless things drastically change, we can do that very quickly. There we go, someone else making their way into the pits then at the end of lap 2, I believe. That might be Lando Norris. Again, though, I don't know whether that's front wing damage or he wants to take the gamble and move over onto the inters. No, he doesn't, so still the AI running into problems, tripping over each other. We've taken 7 seconds out of Lance Stroll and gone purple through the final 2 sectors.
For now, keep taking care of them.
I should have set the purple target goal as the one to do this weekend, because that would be really easy in these conditions. You know, I guess it is when you have these hilarious conditions where sprint racing really does come alive inside Formula 1. Not that this would be any different if it was a real Grand Prix. I can't help but wonder that maybe other drivers would have dived into the pit lane by now, considering we've gone, 12 seconds quicker than Stroll.
Car behind on the medium tyre now.
I guess the real question for us still, of course, is whether the circuit is going to dry up before the end of the afternoon. Piastri now diving into the pit lane, so I think he's also had enough of his front wing damage. I mean, look at that. It's like the AI has stood still. New fast lap of the day, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. That is the thing we've got to be careful of, how much earlier the AI need to brake than myself, as Ricciardo almost catches me out down at turn 1. But surely we're going to be able to return to points here with the way things are going at the moment. We've got 6 laps to try and carve our way through. And at the moment, I mean, it's like trying to carve, trying to carve through. It's like going through butter with a steak knife. It's that easy. Down the inside of Tsunoda as well. George Russell out of position, so both Mercs having a real disaster here early on. I don't know. Whoa! If they've got front wing damage. I think I saw front wing damage on George Russell there, and maybe the same for Lewis Hamilton, as we're about to get ourselves back inside the top 10. It's through this sector as well. And I think we are gaining, I mean, it's everywhere, isn't it? We're gaining a ridiculous amount of time on the AI. It's Lewis Hamilton. You can see he's understeering, but we go clean around the outside. I mean, it's even on the exits of corners.
But I don't think we've got course to move on to a different tyre yet.
Of course we don't have course to move on to a new tyre just yet. We're going like 10 seconds a lap faster than anybody else here. We might genuinely be within a shot to try and win this thing. There's our Albon there. Actually, the AI seem to be standing a little bit of a better chance now. I think they are getting more and more competitive. Still nowhere near competitive enough, though. But by the end of this race, actually, it might be interesting to see what they can do.
Keep it up. Right, the gap's
Rounding outside of a one.
way
So,
ahead of us. 2.3 seconds.
I mean, look at Hulkenberg running up in P7. He's had a magnificent start to this race as well. But we've rolled the dice, and now suddenly Haas could be on for a double points finish. I mean, the last thing we need to do here is have contact with Nico. Still, I don't know whether actually DRS is enabled or not. We're about to find out as we make our way out onto this back straight. Tucked up in the wheel tracks of our teammates, so clearly running a bit more downforce. And yeah, there isn't even DRS. How on earth, without DRS enabled, does anyone believe that the dry tyres are the right ones to be on right now? As down the inside of our teammate will go. Fairly robust move, but we did make it with no issues. Well, the rain has now stopped here in Miami, so we're starting to see the AI have a bit of a better fighting chance. Actually, haven't really pulled out much time at all over Hulkenberg this lap. So maybe this is where our strategy starts to get undone a little bit. But I am going to get the elbows out with everyone that isn't my teammate here. Happy to try and see him score some points. I think we are still a bit quicker. But I'm staggered as well. How on earth have Kick Sauber been able to keep up with Ferrari and Red Bull? Oh, AI now. AI setting fastest laps. Oh no. After we spoke so confidently about how I'd made the right choice. Track started to dry up very, very quickly here. Clearly got very good drainage around this venue, but the gap to Hulkenberg's still 3 seconds. I would love to bring home a point just for how stupid this race has been. 3 laps to go then, and the time Max Verstappen just set was about 1 second faster than the lap time I did, so I think now we've pretty much met the crossover point in this Grand Prix. Zhou Guanyu somehow has made a move on Carlos Sainz as well, and now the gap to Hulkenberg starting to come the other way. Oh no! We've really got to try and get our elbows out towards the end of this. I'm praying DRS never gets enabled. Yeah, the AI now have definitely got the margin. Bottas a 134.8. We're only going to do a 137.2.
0.3 seconds.
As everyone going quicker than me. Hulkenberg ran the outside down at turn 1. Nothing I can do about our teammate there. Just how quickly the tables have turned in this sprint race. In fact, we're trying to weave around. Actually trying to keep the tyres cool here by using the wetter part of the circuit. Alonso around the outside. We'll have to give him the room. He gets a bit of a wobble on himself. So clearly the AI, they're still not home and dry just yet. If you pardon the pun. But 1.5 more laps to go. Come on, we just desperately want to try and have something to show for it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Alonso gets down the inside there. So will Alex Albon as well. And Lewis Hamilton. So they're all going to be a 3 wide nearly as they make their way in towards the next corner. Hamilton thinks about it as they all kick up a little bit of spray, though. They will struggle just a little bit with the understeer here. So we're going to try and go on a fight back. But we simply don't have the grip. It is all falling apart. 10 seconds to George Russell further behind. Surely we can hang on from him. But what a truly bizarre race. Oh no, that's not what we wanted. 1 lap to go. DRS now has been enabled. So Charles Leclerc is going to be under even more pressure from those Red Bulls as well. But very clearly, the pace has come away from us. I cannot believe that.
4.3 seconds.
I genuinely felt about halfway through this one that we might be able to win this with the amount of time we were taking out of the AI.
To the car behind, 2 seconds.
Why didn't they let me start on Inters? Had we been able to start on Inters, this race would have probably been very, very different. Because I could have probably moved our way right towards the front by about lap 2. I don't think we would have won it still. But I just want to believe. As he makes his way then out onto the back straight for the final time. Charles Leclerc. Will he finally stand on the top step of the Formula 1 podium? It is only a sprint, but I'm sure it would be a good way after Carlos Sainz took the victory last time out there. Charles Leclerc defending for all his worth in towards the final corners. I think he's going to do it, though. He is going to be your winner here in the Miami GP sprint race. Albon and Hulkenberg as well. Looks like they're going to be scoring their first points of the year, and Williams getting their first points on the board as well. Annoyingly, 7th place is going to be the best result for the team so far this year as well, and it is going to go the way of Nico Hulkenberg as our tyres completely hit the cliff there through the final corner. It was a wild race, we had to attempt it, but it is P11.
So with the sprint concluded, join us next time for qualifying and of course the main event, this weekend's Formula 1 Grand Prix. We will see you next time.
Well, I don't actually know what the conditions are ready for qualifying, but if the sprint race is anything to go by, and with changeable conditions in Sunday's race as well, anything can happen here. P11 at the end of the sprint from the back of the grid. Lots of big movers, though. Zhou Guanyu, 12th to 4th. He is absolutely having a season to remember so far of it. But there we go. Sprint race survived. Let's hope the real race can be the same. But first of all, we've got to hope for a better qualifying.
It is driver versus stopwatch. It is a venue that is new to Formula 1 in recent years, but you have to dance the car to the edge. It is Miami, it is qualifying. Who will take the pole?
Well, just like we saw then last time out in Shanghai, having to make a few setup tweaks as we move into real qualifying as well. But of course, here we had an absolute disaster in the sprint, so want to try and do a better showing here in real qualifying. Anything better than last place, I guess, would be good, and hopefully also make sure that we get back ahead of our teammate Nico Hulkenberg as well. There, you know, don't want to start letting him sneak his way back into the rivalry. We have proved ourselves as the #1 driver within the team, and I hope to try and keep it that way. Well, I really do feel like, yeah, this technical section should be where we have a big advantage, but still struggling with some oversteer as we make our way through, try and attack the curbing as best as possible. And this final run back out onto the back straight, so important you don't overstep the car, otherwise you're just going to lose time all the way up this blast. I can't seem to reach 208 miles an hour though, which is really frustrating. There we go. That slightly lower wing then at least coming in handy to make sure we complete that goal for the weekend. As we round our way then out of the final corner. Not been a first lap that's particularly memorable, but I think has been a decent banker. No, it hasn't. It's still P20. Where has the pace gone? Well, Hulkenberg seems to have found something completely different to me this weekend. Again, 9/10 faster than me at the first runs here in qualifying. So we've got our work cut out as we try and make our way out onto our second lap. Definitely still got to set up There's a bit more oversteery than I would like, but I guess we just got to try and deal with that and get on with it here. One more run here in qualifying. I really don't want to be out in Q1 again. We need to make sure we fix this problem that really has kind of found its way in. Oh, I thought we found a little bit of time there as we make our way out onto the motorway section. But now we're just going to leak time as we make our way down in towards the final corner. I mean, really now, this is about saving ourselves from embarrassment here. There's one more real corner to go. Just try and lean it in there. You can see no rotation through the front end, and we found nothing at all. 1/10 of an improvement there. That is garbage. Well, there we go. Max Verstappen fastest by the end of Q1 there, ahead of his teammate and Fernando Alonso. But yeah, I mean, the fact we were 9/10 off Hulkenberg in the end, 7/10 off anybody else. We have clearly taken the setup in the wrong direction here. Way too oversteery in the places where you don't want it. And I think ultimately we've just lacked straight line speed as well. So really has not been a good combination here. But it is changeable conditions for the Grand Prix. I have hopefully compromised the setup to be a bit better in the wet conditions. So let's just see what we can do.
F1 seems to be growing by the day in the USA, and today's race is a testament to that. It's time for the Miami Grand Prix. Well, it's certainly not sunny here in the Sunshine State. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 19 corners and 3.36 miles of track around Hard Rock Stadium. These conditions should prove especially difficult for our drivers today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Albon, Joe, Sargent, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Ocon, and Mr. Monaco. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Shakes. Alongside me, a real authority on all things motor racing. It's a warm welcome back to Anthony Davidson. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Now, I know this isn't where we wanted to start this race, but given we're back here at the back of the grid, it means there's an opportunity to move forward. I've seen you karting back in the day. Let's go and do it again.
I never realised Mark was watching me go-karting. I never realised I went go-karting either, to be completely honest. But yeah, Anthony Davidson there talking about pre-race rituals. I think mine must be checking that I'm recording about 60 times as we go into a Grand Prix then. But heavy rain at the start of the Miami Grand Prix. I'm trying to have a look. Yeah, intermediates, it absolutely doesn't believe the way to go, so we're going to avoid those, but maybe trying to extend that full wet stint until we get to a drier period as well there. It's going to be a tough old race today, changeable conditions, but hopefully that is going to lead to a bit more intrigue, because a lot of the races this year have been very samey. It is 5 red lights here in Miami again. And it is lights out, and away we go there. Hopefully a less chaotic start than the one we saw in the sprint.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Well, we try to have a look down the inside, as I think that's Yuki Tsunoda, who tells me absolutely not. Down at the first turn, I think we're still 3 wide on the exit of the corner with Bottas and Yuki, so we had to kind of bail out over the curbs there to make sure there wasn't contact made between all 3 of us. But yeah, a much less dramatic start then than the one we saw in the sprint, and that's saying something. So I'm up 3 places here through turn 1. Hulkenberg trying to make his way back down my inside in towards the S's. Really does seem to have had the better of me all weekend long so far. Nice to see Hulkenberg back kind of in more fighting form as I desperately try not to put him into a wall as we make our way out onto the back straight then. Looks like Verstappen has hung on at the start, as even in these wet conditions, confident in the spray. Careful we don't lock up into the side of him there. Really, really difficult to try and sort of find the balance on the brakes early on here as we just try and keep the car in line as Bottas trying to make moves happen, which he has done. We're going to try and take some inspiration there, go around the outside of Yuki in through the chicane. Oh, we just got absolutely wedged over that outside curb and kind of understeered back towards him there. So I'm sorry, Yuki. That was more robust than I'd intended. Well, this is my first time then on the full wet tyres inside this year's game, of course, excluding that video we did racing as Fernando Alonso last week. Obviously, they have made some already quite aggressive tweaks to the handling model. At the time of recording this, I don't actually know when the new handling patch is meant to be releasing either, so obviously we'll make a video on that as and when it does arrive. But yeah, so far the full wet conditions, if you're in a rhythm and you're by yourself, they don't actually feel too bad. What I'm intrigued to know, though, is how are the AI going to kind of separate here? Because without the DRS, maybe it'll actually allow them to break away a bit more from each other. Because obviously it is more based on raw pace and confidence. As engine warning light flashes up, so we're going to be taking some penalties at Imola, I fear. Well, looking on the minimap, it seems that Lance Stroll once again is going to be the cork in the bottle and provide us backmarkers with an opportunity to try and score some points here. Of course, last time out in Shanghai, actually had one of my best late race battles ever on this game. Admittedly, it's been out a week, so it's not saying a lot. But unfortunately, yeah, when none of the frontrunners had any problems, it was basically just a battle for best of the rest. And unfortunately, that is P11 this year. So I'm avoiding first gear through there for the most part. It just makes the car so unstable. But everyone behind Stroll is really still bunched up here. But of course, no one can really do anything because there's no DRS. That'd be good. Yeah, I'm happy to try and take the gamble over to a set of intermediates if we get close to a pit stop window. Look at that. All four tyres overheating at the moment. So clearly the wets aren't providing the same amount of grip and not able to really regulate their temperature anymore either. So that makes me believe it might actually be time to switch over to the inters. Not really seeing any puddles around the venue either. As we'll try and stay over on the damper line out onto this back straight. Maybe just regulate the temperature a little bit. See what that will help us with. Are we seeing the temperatures drop? We're not really. I think we've got to go for it. I think we've got to pit now and really try and make that switch. See if we can undercut the AI a little bit here. As Verstappen still setting new fastest laps of the day. But yeah, we're going to gamble it. It worked for us yesterday.
Forecasts suggest the rain's going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. You should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water.
But that is really, really good to know as well. And I'm only hoping that if we do gain an advantage from this, that the AI don't immediately box after me. Because a one-lap undercut on cold tyres is probably not going to make much of a difference here. Oh, they fumbled it. They fumbled it, of course. Love that. Love that inside F124. Haas.
There's been a problem attaching the left front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though and finish this race strong. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
And immediately then, even just making our way out of the pit lane, these tyres still feeling sketchy, but no worse than the wets did. Let's monitor that gap.
We've got some clear track in front of us, so let's make best use of it and make the next lap a quick one. You got this.
I mean, you can already just see, that's our stronger part of the venue anyway, but we are taking time out of Ocon. Once again, has our early pit call been the right choice? Well, no one else into the pit lane, but we went purple through the middle sector. This is reassuring. We might be able to try and undercut our way up. But again, it kind of depends on how long we have to take these intermediates for. Because it might be that we have to pit again onto another set of inters if the rain doesn't dissipate fully. That's what we like to see as well. New fast lap of the day. God, surely we're going to see AI start boxing soon. We've taken 5 seconds out of Ocon since I pit. But it's turning into a very, very odd little race here. Max Verstappen is occasionally taking back fastest lap from me. So I think the AI reluctant still to make the switch over to the intermediates. But every single time he does it, hopefully I'm not about to prove myself wrong, we immediately just go a few tenths of a lap quicker. So the AI must be looking at him going, well, I got no need to switch. But of course, we're going quicker than Max Verstappen. I mean, look at that as well. The intermediates, they just aren't wearing. We could go to the end of the GP if we wanted to. We have taken a real conscious effort to be gentle with them. But as the rear's just starting to overheat slightly, we are going to have to manage. Oh, there we go. Finally one of the McLarens dives into the pit lane then. So this is going to give us a good idea of roughly where we are then in this GP. As Hulkenberg as well finally just joins him and makes the call.
Into the pits. Nico in the pits.
See, Piastri, yep, has gone over to a set of the intermediate compounded tyres, but he was way up the road before he boxed, so I think he was actually running right up towards the front of the order. The fact we're, what, 4 seconds behind him? That's pretty good. Well, we're seeing a very, very slow and sporadic move over to the the intermediate compound here, so we'll get past Logan Sargent. Going to be mighty close with Hamilton there on exit, who is now the next car in front of me. I guess the other big question, of course, Hulkenberg is going quicker than me. Fresher tyres, and just generally, he's got the pace this weekend. So, are we still going to be ahead of a lot of the AI by the time they box? And then, will I be able to keep them at bay? Here goes Lewis then as Oscar Piastri trying to make moves a little bit further up the road. And Hamilton, not with the confidence to try and get around the outside of that Alpine down at the hairpin there. Gasly loses the place to the McLaren car there. I mean, just look at how much they're all slowing each other up. Logan Sargent surely now will be told by his team to get on with it. This is actually Tsunoda at the head of this train. Are we going to see Lewis now get a run? So we've got to be really, really careful to manage the wheel spin out onto the back straight here. Are we going to see Hamilton duck out? Surely we are. He's practically pushing Esteban Ocon along in this Grand Prix. Esteban is going to try and go a little bit defensive. Hamilton's going to try and move his way to the outside there, down at the hairpin, and Ocon actually gives him some room around the outside. Hamilton will swoop through. Ocon gets a huge chunk of wheel spin as well. But these are critical laps in this Grand Prix. We have to move past these wet runners. As Logan Sargent, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I'm sure the Miami home crowd will be cheering that on. I mean, look at that. Ocon gets a very, very slimy moment again. So the wet tyres, I mean, we know they're not working. We've gained a pit stop on Esteban since we dived in. But can we try and get to the inside of him? Surely we will. Yeah, there we go. Down the inside. Robust move. But we're through another one. Okay, interesting. So we, definitely are going to see a switch to the dries before the end of the afternoon. This has been a full wet to dry race. So, yeah, we just cannot put the power down like the AI out of there. It feels like F122 all over again. How good their traction is. Maybe it's just an issue in the rain. So there goes Hamilton to the outside of Pierre Gasly.
This is vital for tyre wear, as you well know, so please try and keep them in the green.
Yeah, we're trying to monitor it as best as we can, Mark, but it's not happening. Yuki Tsunoda into the pit lane. I think Gasly wanted to follow him, but unable to get underneath Hamilton's rear wing there, as we've got a few more cars now in. So where are we going to re-emerge then, as we'll try and look around the outside of Pierre? No chance there. Those wet tyres seemingly actually becoming slightly better until the AI do that through the first couple of corners. I think we're going to have to do a bit of deja vu. As you can see how much Hamilton's pulling away.
But listen, not to worry. Get your head down and chin up, and let's focus for the rest of this race.
There we go. If you wonder what happens when you fail one of those, that is exactly it. As Gasly, Ocon, Tsunoda really have cost us a lot here. Some of the other back markers have instantly rocked up to the back of me again. So there goes Logan Sargent as well. That Williams has got some real straight line speed here. So Sargent making light work of me. Can we try and hang with him on our oldest set? Well, I didn't realise just how bad we were managing the tyre temperatures at the moment. That rear up at over 100 degrees, as we are going to get ourselves into the points.
Wets on. We've seen a few teams change over already.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening, Mark. But what do we do at the moment as we're trying to defend from Lando Norris, who launches it over the curbs there. Whoa! Gets down the inside. We're just about able to keep it out the wall. But there goes Lance Stroll and Alex Albon and Nico Hulkenberg here. So a bit like the sprint, our GP seems to slowly be unravelling around us at the moment. We just cannot keep the tyres cold. Oh, here we go, Zhou Guan Yu as well. We'll say thank you very much. What are we meant to do? Once again, twice this weekend, We've made the right strategy choice, but we just cannot regulate the temperatures once we get back to the base. We'll have to look. I'm guessing I've just set the tyre pressures too low. And obviously we're really struggling with the resistance through the traction zones. I mean, look at that. It is just all over the show at the moment. And unless I bots to another set of intermediates, I'm not really sure what else we can do. We're not ready for the dries yet at all, but we are in big trouble. But I'm trying everything I can at the moment, avoiding wheel spin, driving in the puddles. Nothing seems to be working here, as there goes Valtteri Bottas down around my outside. Or not, because I've got no braking performance at all there. Valtteri, I'm so sorry. That was a Kevin Magnussen-style defensive manoeuvre there, so Magnussen might be gone in this series, but his spirit lives on. But, yeah, I mean, do we just gamble it onto a set of dries soon? What can we do late on in the day here? Nothing seems to be working for us this weekend. And like I said, I think it's just the setups in completely the wrong direction. I mean, look at this. We'll move over onto the wet puddles. And the tyre temperature going up down the straight. So we just cannot manage it here anywhere like the way I would have wanted to.
Okay, mate, we want to make sure we're saving some ERS, so let's try and charge it up now.
Oh, there we go. New challenge coming in from the team as Yuki Tsunoda will get around the outside of me. They're also saying, and we can see there is less and less spray being kicked up each and every lap. So I think we will see a switch to the dries before the end. The A, I might not go for it. But ultimately, we can't really lose a lot else in this GP. And well, with the pace we lacked in qualifying, really should have been a precursor for the Grand Prix today. This is like a proper OG Haas problem, isn't it? Unable to manage their tyres.
So don't be too aggressive.
Yeah, we are absolutely just destroying this set. So, given another couple of laps, we're going to decide to bail in and go over to a set of the dry tyres. I just want to be able to make sure I can take softs to the end. So, Ocon there just moves back in front of me. I don't quite know where he's going to brake, but if I get caught out, we are absolutely going to careen into the back of him.
Now that you're in the wake of the car ahead, try to get past as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think we got bigger problems than understeer at the moment, Mark. Never mind the fact the tyres are on fire. Here we go, Ricciardo now and Pierre Gasly. I'm sure about to be making a move on me as well. What is Ricciardo doing? Gasly might sense an opportunity down the inside. Ricciardo rather wisely reads it that I'm going to be running way too deep in towards the next corner. I mean, it's really through here, I think, is doing the damage. All weekend long, we've struggled with the rear end sliding through there. I don't really know what else we can do about it, apart from drive slower, and that I don't think is going to make a world of difference, because once you meet that with the wheel spin,
1.6 seconds.
I mean, we are cycling up through the gears so early. I know how much time it's costing me. But yeah, I mean, Ricciardo about to make it through. There is less and less spray being kicked up, so I'm tempted to gamble it now, actually, just to sort of see what we can do. Maybe gather some data for Nico before this race is over. I think it is still slightly too early, but we're also not far away from getting a puncture. So into the pits we go then. We have really been the unorthodox driver this weekend, and, well, it hasn't worked for us. I'm gutted, absolutely gutted with the way the Miami GP's gone, but I want to try and keep my finishing record alive for as long as we can.
Go! Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
There we go. A little bit of pit stop training as well. Oh, yeah, it is too early for the dries. I can feel that instantly.
Yes, mate, we hit the target. Nice work.
Yep, it is definitely too early for the dries. I've got no idea how we didn't hit a wall. Of course. How is that a penalty as well?
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
This race just goes from bad to worse, man. 7 laps to go.
That last incident, mate.
Right, yeah, let's just try and get to the finish. I tell you what, yeah, I don't think we made a bad call here late on in the day, and, well, I've got to give EA some credit as well. The dry tyre wet track physics, I think, is genuinely actually very good. You really notice the difference between when you're on the dry line and if you slowly move out of it, so that's going to make league racing really interesting in changeable conditions, as finally then DRS has been enabled. We're starting to see some other cars peeling into the pit lane, so I wonder if we'll get a look in Pierre Gasly before the end of this race. 5 laps to go with this Grand Prix, and all the AI, for whatever reason, have opted for a set of the hards. I don't know why. We've definitely all got sets of tyres still. Yeah, even with Alpine double stacking, Pierre Gasly is going to be out ahead of me. I would love to finish not last in this race, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Well, there we go. We have finally made it to the last lap of the Miami Grand Prix, and absolutely, this is going to be one to forget. The fact that we made the perfect strategy call, and still, I think we're in the points for all of about 3 seconds today, goes to show how much we have struggled. Hulkenberg hasn't done much better. Yeah, this weekend, we really have got to try and take what we've learnt, you know, about the tyres, about changeable conditions, things like that, and also work out what we struggle with. Max Verstappen, he will be back on the top step of the podium once more. Carlos Sainz, I believe that is, will come through for P2. But yeah, I don't know how we're losing so much time to the AI at the end of this one. I think, yeah, the engine wear certainly not doing us any favours either. But yeah, really, you know, for our first home Grand Prix for the team of the year, this one has been a rather large disappointment. But, you know, we are going to make it to the end again. So, you know, you gotta try and take it with a pinch of salt as well there. We're surviving, which is really, really important early on in this game there. Looks like Hulkenberg is going to get the better of the Alpines and the V-Carbs as well at the end of it. So happy, happy days in that regard. But waiting on a big host of upgrades to come in the coming weeks there. Through the final corners, though, we are going to survive the Miami Grand Prix. What an interesting one it has been there. Nice to see the AI not in a train for a change, but unfortunately it is P20.
They've done it then. A truly magnificent win here at the Miami International Autodrome.
A great display of dominance today by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Well, there we go. 13 drivers scoring points this weekend. That's not bad going, is it, when you look at the bigger picture as well there. It's a shame it was only 2 points for Haas. 1 point for Williams, though, so I guess we did pull out a margin over them once more. But that being said, I'm hoping we're going to be safely ahead of them by the end of the year there. But taking a look at our final race results, Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the day there, so picks up the bonus point. But it was, Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes on the podium. The 2-stop, yeah, definitely the way to go. But I can't help but feel we could have done a whole lot more there. Maybe if we'd boxed again onto another set of the Inters a bit earlier. I don't know. Hindsight is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And shout out to Zhou Guan Yu. Points in both the sprint and the GP there. Did a really, really good job this weekend. We couldn't even get in sub-130s. That goes to show the struggle we had today. A minute off Max Verstappen, who takes home the race victory there. So yeah, really an absolute disaster for ourselves. The Dutchman now with a 63-point lead in the Drivers' Championship, and of course with Hulkenberg getting points on the board, he is up into P14. I guess our battle still is going to be with Zhou and Bottas come the end of the year, and of course Lance Stroll as well there. But yeah, happy that our teammates finally been able to break his curse sleeves. Just the V-Carbs, the Alpines, and Logan Sargent yet to score points there. Red Bull with a 52-point lead in the Constructors. Ferrari's brutal consistency and ability to have 2 drivers performing might mean that we got to fight with that as we make our way through the campaign. But thank you all so much for watching Double Sprint Day today. It has been a very, very intense one. Make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed if you're new as well. We're trying to hit 130k at the moment. And yeah, we'll be back very soon. Tomorrow, in fact, of course, ready for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.